Skin Regimen Longevity Facial begins with an initial welcoming phase where we ask the client to make movements with the upper arm. We ask the client to raise her arm in front of her with the shoulders relaxed. The arm is straight and the hand is open. At this point, our task is not to restrict the movement, but to support it, to create a correct position with the shoulder, elbow and wrist aligned. We ask the client to open her hand to its maximum extension slowly and thoroughly, so that through its proprioceptive receptors, the brain can understand the movement, analyze it, and listen to what is happening to the body. Now we ask her to close it to its maximum extension to end up as a fist. In making this movement, the client can understand the state of tension and tiredness, how many muscles are working and how, so that she can make the movement correctly. Every exercise is repeated 3 times because, in accordance with Kabat-Zinn's instructions, in the first phase, the brain absorbs the movement to understand it. In the second, it carries it out materially. In the third, it memorizes it, and as a result, it enters the phase of memory and active comprehension. From the last phase of maximum opening, we ask the client courteously to move her thumb so as to create a natural rotation of the hand, and at this point to lower the arm towards the opposite hip. We accompany it while keeping an eye on the elbow and shoulder to make sure there is no bending of the elbow nor forcing of the shoulder, which would bring about alterations. We support the arm gently, neither pushing nor hindering its movement, but feeling carefully through the hands. When we feel that the arm has reached its maximum extension without forcing, we ask the client to turn the hand over and to move it above the head while we oppose the movement. With a light counterbalancing action, we keep the customer's hand rotated, which makes sure that the elbow doesn't bend during the exertion. Also in this case, when we feel the maximum balance has been achieved, we ask the client to repeat the operation 3 times. After completing the 3 movements towards the hip, we move back towards the original position and again perform opening and closing movements of the hand so that the client can independently perceive the variations in muscle tension before and after. After this, and when the hand is open, the arm can return to the side, or else we can very gently accompany it towards the body. For the second part of the Kabat movement, we have chosen to work on the neck. We slide our hand underneath the neck. The task is not to raise it, but to support it in order to use it to listen. We place a finger at a distance of 30–40 centimeters above the client's face horizontally, so she doesn't need to make any effort. And then we ask her to watch the movement of our finger as it moves slightly higher up. We then ask the client to look at the tip of the left foot without raising her head. We go back again very slowly, listening carefully to all the positions of the neck. We take the finger back above the head and then point at the tip of the right foot. These movements are extremely subtle, almost imperceptible. We feel them only in the palm of our hand, and this is more than enough. We now return, always passing over the center, going up again and then repeating twice. For the third movement, we need to go to the sides of the mouth. We have chosen the orbicular muscles of the mouth and the eyes because these 2 parts are the most important. This movement is more particular. The elbows need to be open to place your fingers at right angles to the mouth where the jaw can be felt, and therefore below the cheekbone at the side of the jaw. The movement consists of two parts: a pressure phase, where we press lightly into the muscles, and a lifting phase. It is important at this stage that the two phases are felt, the pressing and the lifting. At this point, we ask the customer to smile. This creates a natural movement of opposition during which we lessen the pressure of our fingertips. We repeat the same thing with the eyes. The orbicular muscle of the eye is much more sensitive, so the movement is almost imperceptible, and the sensitivity of our fingertips is crucial. We start with the eyes closed, pressure stretching. Then we ask the customer to open her eyes and look at us, and at that moment we relax the pressure. We now begin the actual treatment phase with Skin Regimen Duo Cleanser, which acts as a milk and tonic at the same time. We make use of an innovative technique called switch technology that determines a change in the chemical phase during application, from a light texture to a richer texture, to leave a protective film on the skin that continues to work even after rinsing. The product is applied to the skin, the face, neck and bust, as in all our treatments. And when the product has been correctly spread over the face, the fingertips are moistened and used to continue distributing the product. Any extra is removed as usual, like a normal cleansing. After the cleansing, we continue with the second massage technique, which is called deep dermalgic massage, or palpaire roulée or roulage, which is useful to activate internal processes deeper than the tissue level. By working on the connective tissue, we stimulate the production of collagen. This can also be carried out on extremely sensitive skins, because the goal is to work deeply, almost below the muscles. The movement begins with vertical lines and then horizontal ones, following the whole face, starting from the terminus, then the area below the collarbone. The skin is quite clearly lifted with a roulage movement in order to get to work below the tissue, right up to the top of the face. This causes a significant detachment. As you can see, the fingers are raised. The movement is not only thumb pressure, but the initial detachment is the key part, after which the thumbs slide below the portion of tissue gathered and the fingers are used to move it upwards. Then we begin again, creating a second line. Initially, this can be unpleasant, but by proceeding, the discomfort lessens. Skins intoxicated for a long time create crystallizations or micro-infiltrations that hinder correct passage of the blood and lymph, giving rise to subcutaneous deposits that are painful in massage. Once all the vertical part has been carried out, we move on to the horizontal movements. Remember not to work with maximum pressure on the larynx. To the side of it, it is possible to maintain the same movement. At the end of this part of massage, you will immediately notice the difference between the part worked on and the part not worked on. A sort of natural filler is created where the tissue is re-densified and the muscles resume their natural position, creating a pleasing appearance that is relaxed and younger looking. After the roulage phase, we apply all over face the Skin Regimen acid preparator based on citric acid and arginine, which prepares the tissues to receive the Skin Regimen Face Renewer, an essential product for the revitalization and reoxygenation of the tissue. We prepare a dose of Skin Regimen Face Renewer and apply it to the face, neck and bust. At first, it may sting a little, but despite being a product that acts deeply, it does not create particular unpleasant sensations or effects. At this point, cotton balls soaked in warm water should be applied to the eyelids and left on for 10 minutes. During this time, you can leave the client to relax or gently massage the scalp or hands. After the processing time, remove the product thoroughly. We apply Skin Regimen Neutralizer based on arginine, which serves to bring the pH to the skin's natural physiological level. When the product has been absorbed, we apply a dose of Juvenate Pro Booster all over the face, allowing it to be completely absorbed. For the last manual technique, we apply Skin Regimen Hydra Pro Cream Gel with a consistency that allows for easy absorption. This massage is called anti-gravity because the concept is to stabilize and reposition the muscles, giving a lifting sensation. For this part of the massage, we use our thumbs as a comprehensive support right up to the thinner eminence. The rest of the hand is only used to help the rotation. We start from under the collarbone, the thumbs pressing firmly, after which they slide to create a stretching below the clavicle. The hand rotates with thumb pressure around the shoulders and ends up below the collarbone. We repeat the movement below the neck. We embrace the neck with the tips of the fingers which slip underneath it. The thumbs are on the side of the larynx and press down, sliding sideways to just below the neck. Repeat 3 times. Now, the thumbs are placed on the chin, stretching below the jaw, to drain to the side of the ear. Repeat 3 times. The movement then shifts to the top with the thumbs on the lips, stretching slowly and deeply. As you can see, the thumbs are always kept pressed down and glide evenly. For the area of the nasolabial folds, we create a rounded movement. All of the thumb is used and it presses evenly. The thumbs are lateral to the wings of the nose, sliding below the zygomatic bone and stretching. We continue the same movement with the palms resting on the forehead, thumbs pressing down and following the zygomatic arch all the way to the ears. We then move up the temples. The thumbs stretch the orbicular area of the eye up to the temples, stretching the forehead at the same time. Now the thumbs arrive at the top at the orbicular muscles of the eyes, following the eyebrows to the temples, arriving at the hairline, and concluding with a motion as far as the neck, creating a stretching on the bust, and finally coming to rest above, below the clavicle for the time of a couple of breaths. A conclusive slide, then a thank you to the client. At the end of the treatment, we leave the client a few minutes to relax and bring some juice on a tray along with a prescription for proper home maintenance.